I'm not even remotely exaggerating when I say I cannot imagine going through life as a boy. Oh my God. Oh my God, that would suck.
I don't hate men, but I don't think there's a worse feeling than going to a yoga class and having a man put his mat next to yours. Like, I didn't pay $30 for this yoga class for a man to sweat next to me.
You paid $30 to mind your business and tone those buns. Why don't you just do that? Go in there and do what you're supposed to do. Lock in.
So, like, what giant freak is gonna be my partner for the Dancing with the Stars thing? I can kick. I mean, I might go out of frame, so we might need to back up. But, like, I can do the kicky thing. Who's my partner?
So this woman was in a restaurant. She's looking around and all she sees other women. Nobody on a date. No man and woman on a date. Just women, as she said, dating each other. So the commentary is that men don't want to be on dates anymore. They don't want to go out with women because it's a waste of time and money. So my question is, do men ever like going on a date? Do men like going on dates? They like going to restaurants and trying different foods and things like that. Is it something that they only did because women like to do it? Like if I'm going to get in a relationship and I say I want to go to a restaurant, am I making him do something that he doesn't want to do? A lot of men say they just rather stay home. But what do you guys think?
I'm probably never going to post this because it's probably not going to go anywhere. But there is a new guy at my gym. I've been seeing him since maybe like Christmas Eve, I don't know. But we've interacted a few times. Gorgeous man. So I told myself in the new year, I'm going to be bold. I wrote my number on a Post-it note. And next time I see him, I'm just going to hand it and walk away.
Update, that didn't age well. I went full FBI a couple days later, found him on social media, and he is fully married with 2 children. So the Post-it note was destroyed, and I'm going to crawl into a hole and never have a gym crush again.
So this is, fantastic of you for shooting your shot. You got men in the comments saying, he shouldn't have done that. I'm glad you found out. It's accountability that they're taking, right? Somebody else said, he said, did something similar, asked her out to a New Year's Eve drop event, found out 2 hours before midnight, she's been dating someone for 3 years. I was like, why are we still sitting here sharing drinks then? Exactly. So men go through the same thing, right? But you have men in the comments not patting him in the back, but saying, hey, sorry he did that. He was a loser. Keep trying. I hope women extend the same level of grace whenever this happens to a man. Instead of, oh, well, you deserved it. Oh, well, maybe she this and maybe she that. No, she shouldn't have done that.
Which of the following is worse? A woman's fear of an unwanted pregnancy or a man's fear of 18 years of child support?
A man's fear of the 18 years of child support.
Why?
Because he's stuck paying for a child for 18 years, and I don't think that's something he would want to do unless...
Unwanted pregnancy.
Why?
Nobody wants a baby that they can't provide for.
Wouldn't that be the same thing for a man who can't provide for a child for 18 years?
Absolutely. So they're very similar. However, like a guy not providing, you know what? But a woman has a choice in that matter. So I guess you're right. I guess maybe the guy is worse because they don't have a choice. It's the woman's right to terminate the pregnancy or continue with it. So yeah.
The guys, because we have a very robust system that's put in place in order to make sure that we catch you if there's a child out there who needs support. And there's also a robust welfare system to help out the single mom.
And honestly, I'm really glad that at least in this portion, they took the time to step back and think. They took the time to say, well, wait a minute. Obviously, you might have your preconceived notions and your snap answers like, oh, yeah, this would be it. But then when somebody says, well, maybe what about this? Oh, yeah, you're right. That would be the, instead of a lot of modern women, what they would have done in this situation is they would have figured out a way to get their point across. They wouldn't have been listening to him. They don't want to hear anything that he has to say. What I do want to hear about is how women are oppressed, how they're victims, and how they're the only ones that are going through anything in this world.
I've been married for 33 years, and on my For You page recently, I have seen a ton of divorce glow-ups and spin-off viral videos in which older women advise younger women not to ever get married. And the comment sections are full, and I mean full, of other older women agreeing. Women who've never been married, women who've been married a long time, and everything in between, all saying don't do it. Now, I have always known that I married a really good man and that he has become an even better man over time. What I didn't realize was that I got the only one. Not literally, but that's what it feels like reading these comment sections. So I want to hear from women who are happily married and have been for any length of time, let's say 10 years, 20 years or longer, women who love their husbands still and whose marriages have stayed good or gotten even better. Women who don't have any regrets and who have been able to pursue their own paths and self-actualize in the context of a happy partnership. Because surely I'm not the only one.
Well, what you actually probably mean to say is bitter women saying men are terrible, right? They're trash, they're this, and this. Woman here says, she's got longer hair now. I was married 35 years before my beloved died of a heart attack. 4 beautiful kids, 4 grandbabies. We grew up together. We learned how to forgive one another. We were truly best friends. He was and always will be the greatest love of my life. We were so blessed, as most people never get to experience that kind of love. We could have thrown in the towel, but we didn't, and always chose us over ourselves. That is a bar. We always chose us over ourselves. Ma'am, and she's got a picture here. She's got a picture here of them out by the water. That was probably staged. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is something that they went out and did, but you look like a traditional older couple who goes out there and it's kind of like a cruise photo is what it is. Like somebody taking a cruise, but they're, laying on the beach, taking a really nice photo. Obviously she's got her top that she picked out, and he's got his khaki pants and his shirt, his little button down long sleeve polo that he's got on, and just kind of laying on the beach chilling out, right? She probably picked that too. I like that. Chose us over ourselves. A lot of these ladies, and even some men, to be honest with you, they choose themselves over the relationship, right? And it's selfish behavior. When in relationships, it's about the team. It's always about the team. Now you can get what you need, but it always has to be in service of the team. Say, for instance, if Kevin Durant goes out there and gets 50 and the team still loses, all of that's fantastic, but it's got to be in service of the team. How did the team benefit? Well, he gave me 50 points. Yeah, but he didn't pass to nobody. So even when he was double and triple teamed, well, it depends on if they make shots too, to be honest. But if he's double and triple teamed, but he's not even passing the ball, then it's going to be like, pass me the ball so I can even have a chance to make a shot, right? So it's about us. Okay, I gave him 50, and I also had 10 assists. Oh, so he's not only scoring, but he was passing the rock. It's about us over ourselves. Oh, no, I just did my job. I had 50 points tonight. Okay, but how did you help the team? That's what they're going to be asking. So in a relationship, how did you help the team out? Did you do it because you want the team to win, or are you trying to pad stats so people can look back at the statistics and the figures and say you're a great player? How do you play the game?
Like 2023, there was this big wave of like, I need my nigga to drag me out the club by my hair and stuff like that. And it's like we romanticize this aggression and hyper toxic masculinity.
Y'all be saying that. Y'all ain't never had a nigga drag you by your hair. So
you really don't know what that feels like. You don't know what that feels like. I don't know what that feels like. And at one point, I thought I did want to know. Like, I want my man to keep me in check, this, and the third. And it's like, no, I want my man to talk with me about my feelings.
And don't want it. You might want that in the bedroom, but you don't want that in real life, because it's not the type of aggression that you should want. It's the type of aggression that you should be afraid of. Out of context. Y'all see I feel like modern women's brain processes that type of struggle, that type of pain, with what they see in the movies, like the after effect of it. Like, I'm willing to wear heels, even though these things are destroying my feet. These are terrible. I'm willing to do it because, I look cute in it. I got some great photos, so I'm willing to go through it. If I go through this man whooping my behind, dragging me all over that house, I'm okay with it. I don't want to do it, but I'm okay with it because afterwards he shows me love, affection. He holds on to me tightly. He'll never want to let me go. Like I'm the only thing in this world. And I know he really loves me. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And you need to get away from him as soon as possible. As a matter of fact, after you get out of that situation, as soon as you get out of that situation, you need to call the police. If you don't want to call the police, you need to pack your things that night and get up out of there. Women's shelters, that need to be your next thing before he blows up again. You keep on letting that man do that, who knows how bad it could get. You need to start protecting yourself in that situation. I know somebody that got up and left in the middle of the night, moved probably 6 or 7 hours away, without a word, got up and moved. That's what a lot of y'all need to be doing. Get away from that man. It's not funny. It's not a joke. Get away from that man immediately. Well, he loved me. He kissed on me. He bought me flowers and a steak dinner. Get away from that man.
It hurts me to see girls still think that guys view love and romance the way that we do. The second a guy turns 21 or 18, whatever the legal age is to go out, he's not sitting there thinking, oh my God, what if I go out tonight and I meet the love of my life at the bar and we just have a happy ending and she becomes my wife. No, babe. He's going out and he's thinking, oh, I'm about to hit something tonight. Y'all need to stop.
A guy here in the comments said, not every guy is like that. The biggest thing, or one of the biggest things I ever wanted, was to have a wife to share my life with and share our lives together. We know, but because they spend most of their time looking for Chad and Tyrone, then that's what they run into. So, they're not going to listen to you, bro. They're not looking for you. They're not checking for you. They checking for Chad and Tyrone. Because honestly and truly, when they go out, that's what they're looking for. But they want it on their terms. They don't want him to end up getting more out of this situation. If you go and brag to your guys about you getting the upper hand, I don't like that, because I feel like I was disadvantaged. I feel like even though you gave me everything that I wanted, I feel like you still got the upper hand. And that makes me feel icky inside. And so now I feel like I didn't really want to do it when I did. And then that's when I go on a spree of talking about, well, I feel like, I was maybe not physically, I'm looking for another word, physically overtaken, but I was mentally and emotionally overtaken, because he knew exactly what he wanted, and that's what he got. And I got what I wanted out of the situation, but not to the degree that he did. What they're really saying is it wasn't fair and equitable in my eyes. And now I feel emotionally sick about it. And now I want a hug. I want a cookie. I want ice cream. I want you to take me out on another date and make it up to me. I want you to, the next time, do some sort of act that will make me feel like I'm in control again and I'm powerful again.
What happened to me tonight is why I absolutely hate men, and they have no sense of social awareness whatsoever. So tonight I went to dinner with my family, and after I dropped them off back at their hotel, I decided, you know what, I'm kind of feeling like some kind of dessert. So I went to Shake Shack because I wanted to get the custard, right? I get my custard, I sit at my table, I film a TikTok, I'm minding my fucking business. Keep in mind, there is nobody in this fucking restaurant besides a couple, and they're across the restaurant, okay? So I'm sitting in the far booth, like in a corner, and there's other booths like here, and I'm kind of the one in the middle, right? About 10 minutes into me minding my fucking business, a man walks in, and we briefly, for like 2 seconds, make eye contact, and I go back to eating my fucking ice cream. He decides that it's socially acceptable to sit in the booth right behind me. I'm here, he's here. Keep in mind, there's another one here, there's another one here, not to mention the whole fucking restaurant is empty. There's nobody else besides this couple in the back corner, and he chooses right here to sit behind me. As he's walking to this table, he makes more eye contact with me. I can feel him staring at me. He sits his bag in the booth behind me and goes to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, this man is going to bother me. He's going to try to talk to me. I'm going to get up and leave. So my night got disrupted because this man has no social awareness. And the reason why I left is because I'm in LA, it's nighttime, and I'm by myself. I'm not gonna deal with this because he looked like the second he got back, he was gonna fucking talk to me. Because why else would he sit right behind me when the entire restaurant is fucking empty? Like, I swear to God, y'all have no social awareness. Like, he was better off just, sitting somewhere away from me, and then if he felt like it, come up to me, I guess. I still would have said no. But, like, the fuck? After this happened, I called my mom, told her what happened, expressed how much I hate men, and then I went home. So, men, y'all need to start learning how to have social awareness. Thank you very much.
There's a comment here that really sums up this whole entire thing. Now, mind you, she didn't say exactly where she was sitting, if she was sitting beside the door, if she was sitting beside the restrooms. She didn't actually say. She just said, hey, he came over and sat beside me, right? Somebody in the comments said, oh, mommy, someone sat in the open booth behind me tonight. Another guy responded and said the best part is when she created a whole scenario in her head, then got so mad at the man's behavior she made up that she got up and left. The guy responded and said, she has a vivid imagination because I'm sure it's all about her. Man. Another guy says, if he had any idea how you really were, he probably would have left the restaurant without even getting anything. Facts. Now, this is woman said, wanting to meet people and talk to them is normal. It is socially acceptable. And once again, because modern women don't take accountability, she responds by saying, huh? Being creepy and sitting right next to me when the whole restaurant is empty is acceptable? Are you good? Yeah, she is good. Honestly, this type of stuff, man, you feel like it's satire. You feel like it's a joke. It's not about you. Somebody in the comments said, maybe this is where he goes a lot, and that's his favorite spot. So you would have been encroaching. You would have been in his territory because he comes there. You don't know, that man might have been like, oh man, this is where I usually sit. I guess I'll go ahead and sit there tonight. This is where I usually sit. This is where I just relax. But, you know, I guess it's all right. I mean, maybe she'll be there. And he might have been relieved that you were gone. Once again, I don't know if you guys really know this, but it's not all about you.
Since you guys really liked part 1 of what my boyfriend does that would send your low effort boyfriend into a coma, here's part 2. So sometimes when we're both in the bathroom and I'm showering and he's brushing his teeth, when he finishes up, he will turn off the lights when he leaves. Not because he forgets that I'm in there. Obviously not. That would never happen. But it's because he's trying to save money by saving, you know, on electricity so that he can buy me really nice things and take me out to dinner. So hope this doesn't get you into a fight with your boyfriend because he doesn't do this for you. Things my boyfriend does that would send your low effort boyfriend into a coma. He leaves his clothing drawer open and his cargo shorts on the floor, firefighter style, in case I need anything in the middle of the night or just like at any given moment. He can just get up super quick and get dressed and go get me like my water or something from the supermarket. So I guess that's what I get for not dating a loser.
You know, in all honesty, I don't really have a problem with her type of content. If it's like, you know, she's just being funny is really what it is. She's just picking out the behaviors of, you know, I can't really even say men because women do this exact same thing, right? Where they leave stuff lying around, you have to come pick up behind them, not locking doors, getting stuff stolen out of cars, that sort of thing. So I get where you're coming from. I know a person that, you know, got something stolen out of the car. I think it was her wallet. Had all that stuff in there. Obviously, debit cards, credit cards, all of that in there. Got that stolen. It didn't encourage them to lock the door. So went back and got their laptop stolen. Still really didn't encourage them to lock the door. Still not really even aware of what's going on around them. And a man has to be there and just be okay with that. He said, oh, well, I didn't mean to. Oh, well, I wasn't thinking. Oh, I thought I did lock it. No, you didn't. You knew you didn't lock it. And you just, the stuff that we're buying and we're investing in, you're just leaving it like a child. You're just leaving your stuff unlocked and unprotected and unguarded. Why would you do that? Do you know where your purse is? Do you know where your keys are? You lost them 20 times in the last 2 weeks. Do you know where your phone is? You've lost it once again 20 times within the last few weeks. Hey, can you stop dropping your phone? You're gonna break it. I work hard to provide you nice things. Can you stop doing that, please? But you wouldn't expect to get for a man to get on here and say all of that stuff, or else he hates his wife. If a man points out all of the terrible things that his woman is doing, then all of a sudden he hates her. But it's okay for you guys to get on here and be talking about what your boyfriend does and doesn't do and all that other stuff. Oh, and by the way, I think there was a TikTok where she was talking about how she got jealous because there was a notification or something like that on her boyfriend's phone from this person, Lily or something like that, and it ended up being somebody like a representative or something like that. She wasn't a real person, I don't think. It was somebody else. He was just receiving a notification that was harmless, and she was like, oh, I might have been a little bit, you know, too ready to look at the wrong that he did. Exactly. Maybe you should chill out.
If women want to claim that men have duties to provide or to just even be masculine or even just something like pay on the first date or that they have duties even within the household structure, I want to ask, especially liberal feminists or liberals in general, what are women's duties in society? If men have the duties to really like protect and maintain structures and do the jobs that women would never want to do and things that we honestly just take for granted, like the structures of society, road building, maintaining like sewage systems, things that women just don't want to do and shouldn't do. What are the duties of women? Because the feminists have taken away the duty of having a child because they say, oh, we shouldn't have to have children. That's some oppressive chain to the kitchen, chain to the home. We don't have a duty to do that. It's like, do you think men want to be providing? Do you think they want to be, you know, out there doing the hard jobs? Like, yes, I think it's within their nature, but if given the choice to just like chill all day and work, they'd probably chill all day because that's just who we are as humans. So why do women get the out to say, oh, well, we don't have to do this, we don't have to do this, we don't have to follow our biological, you know, imperatives because that's anti-feminist or whatever, because we don't want to? So what duties do women have? Because in a functioning society, both men and women have duties to maintain society, to maintain the human race. So if it's not bearing children, if it's not, leaning into their femininity, then what is it?
It's a great question, and something that men have been trying to nail down for eons of time. Well, I don't want to cook anymore. Okay. Are you going to clean? Well, I don't want to clean anymore. Okay. Well, are you going to have children? No, I don't want to do that. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to work. Okay, great. But you're the only one in the relationship that can have children. So are you going to have children or not? Well, I don't want to, and I shouldn't be forced to. So wait a minute. Let's say we both work. There are certain things that, physically speaking, you can't do. So you're going to naturally defer to me as a man because you can't do it. I might not be able to do everything, but I would be the best person to do it. Or it would be my job to find somebody that could do it. Does that make sense? You would give that responsibility to me. I think men are asking, how come we have hard responsibilities? Which is what you're asking. How come we have hard responsibilities, but you don't? How come we have to say and provide tangible evidence of what we can do before we say, hey, let's get into a relationship. Let's get into a committed relationship. Let's get into a long-term monogamous relationship. Hey, you got to show me before I stop messing with all these other guys that you can actually take care of me, that you can actually provide. A man has to go out there and do that. But then as a woman in today's society, I don't want to have kids. I can bring money to the relationship. I mean, yeah, it's great. I need money, which we all do, right? But we need to start getting back down to the things that we really actually need and the things that we actually want. I would want a woman that can provide kids, is willing to have children with me. That's what I would like. A man just got shamed for that by a matchmaker, and she ended up being wrong. Well, I don't think a lot of women are going to go for this. And he's saying, yeah, a lot of women are not going to go for this, but a lot of women will. And he was right. And she was upset with him because he was actually right. No, I was right about that. The women don't care. It ended up being an older gentleman is what it was. Older gentleman, wanted a woman 20 years his junior. I think he was like 40, close to 50, I think it was. 48, 49, 50, somewhere in there. Wanted a woman 20 years his junior. Or he was open to the possibility is actually what it was. He was open to the possibility of the woman being 20 years his junior. She was all down his throat about, oh, well, in Islam, I don't know about that. And I have a duty to protect my women and yada, yada, yada. Fool around, put him on wherever she put him. And there were some women, obviously, that were calling him a predator. And then there are some women that are like, yeah, I'm open to that. Like he said. But then he got back on her case and it was like, hey, man, I really don't appreciate the way you handled this situation. I don't like the way you handled me. And instead of taking accountability, she once again used her platform and weaponized it against him because she knew he couldn't respond. He ain't got no platform, right? Obviously, he can make a platform and respond, tag a video and say, hey, I'm the guy. But we always expect men to take, or in a lot of situations, we expect men to take it on the chin and leave it alone, right? Plus, this man probably got other things that he's doing. He don't care nothing about that. He's going on and moving on with his day, right? But you were wrong. You were wrong. The man has expectations. He had wants. He expressed those. You didn't like that. And so you start to shame him for it. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. Women get to do that. But all of a sudden, when a man says, okay, well, this is what I want out of the relationship, then all of a sudden it's a problem. I don't get that.
I believe believe very strongly that men who want to date women should do more listening to women about what it is that they want from a partner than listening to other men about what it is that women want. Hypergamy is one of those examples of a concept from the manosphere that is fundamentally flawed. And in layman's terms, hypergamy references this idea that women are always interested in dating or marrying up. Women are always seeking out the most attractive person and the person who makes the most money. And this again makes men feel like there is nothing they can do in the world to attract women to them. If they're not attractive enough, if they don't reach a certain attractiveness bar and they don't make enough money to be seen as valuable to women, then they just give up on trying to date women altogether and build up a resentment towards them. I think the biggest flaw with hypergamy, outside of the fact that it is untrue, is the fact that it assumes that women can't make money themselves. We do not have a biological imperative to date a provider. Okay? Any sort of necessity to date a provider comes from societal constraints. When women can't be in the workplace themselves, when women can't have resources that they own and earn themselves, then they must rely on men to do those things. And so in today's world, where women have their own careers and can be responsible for their own resources, they don't require having a man to do those things. And so this idea that they must attract a partner who makes the most money possible so that they can live the lifestyle they want to live is unnecessary. So the bottom line here, there is no biological imperative that is innate to women that makes us have to date up. Women are not looking for the most attractive person. They are looking for someone who is relatively of similar attractiveness to them, like men are to the women that they're dating. The research finds that when a person is looking for a long-term relationship, so not just someone to hook up with, attractiveness really plays a very limited role in the selection criteria. And yes, there are pockets of women who care a lot about the wealth of a partner, but the vast majority of women are not like that. Most women want someone who's going to contribute to the relationship financially, but not necessarily be the provider of the relationship. Women are increasingly becoming the breadwinners in relationships. The problem with that exists with men's own insecurities in their relationships and what they feel like their value is in relationships. So I'm going to reiterate from the top here. If you are a man who wants to date women, you are better off listening to women about what it is that they want than listening to men telling you what it is that women want. Because the men in these spaces are only looking to divide you and make you resentful so that they can control you.
Okay, so when we look at hypergamy, in social science, it's not a vibe, so it's supposed to be measurable, right? And so when we look at strictly peer-reviewed work, then hypergamy, it usually means in demography, sociology, hypergamy is a union where the woman marries up, quote unquote, in some status dimension, okay? So education, income, or age. So Kian defines income hypergamy as marriages in which women marry up in income, right? Tremarky defines age hypergamy as unions in which the man is older than the woman, okay? So what percentage of women actually end up in hypergamous relationships? So obviously not a single global percentage of women who are hypergamous. That's what you'd expect. Because it depends on a dimension with the age, education, income, depends on country, that sort of stuff. But if you look at things like Pew Research, where 69% of couples, the man earns more than the woman, 25% the woman earns more than the man, and 6% they earn the same thing. That's according to Pew. Now, 2025 summary of American Community Survey data coming from the Institute for Family Studies reports that among recently married young adult women in 2023, 63% were out-earned by their husbands, 32% earned more, and 5% had roughly equal income, right? So we're looking at what actually happened. So if you define hypergamy strictly as married to a man who earns more, roughly 60 to 70% of married or cohabitating women in the U.S. are in an income hypergamous union, which is what a lot of them want, okay? Now, if you look at age-based, then we can look at 54% of the time, closer to, if you round up, 55% of the time, the man was older by 2 or more years. Okay? About 7% of the time, it was the woman was older, and then about, I'll say 39% of the time, and I'm rounding these figures, they were about the same age, right? So when we go to educational, it looks like likely historically, because, the husband, men might have had access to education a little bit more back then. Then, you had men going to school a little bit more. But a lot of women are going to school now and they're getting educated. So that's a little bit closer nowadays, I'd say. So when it comes to what women say they want, okay, so a stated preference. Cross-cultural, when you look at 37 culture study, right? And more recently, a 45 country study, Walter et al., women systematically placed more importance on a partner's resources, earning capacity than men did, and men placed more importance on physical attraction. We know this. Okay? I'll skip that. So what percentage of women are hypergamous? If we're going to insist on a number, we can go right back to the 60 to 70% that Pew Research talked to us about. If we go back to age hypergamy, around 50 to 55%. Okay? Educational hypergamy, historically, the majority was men, but in younger cohorts in many high-income countries, it has declined sharply and in some cases is no longer dominant. We know this, okay? So when we look at it, hypergamous outcomes tend to be common. About half to 2/3 of women in many rich countries, if you look at income or age, that's what they want. And that's what they tend to end up in, is a hypergamous relationship. I'm looking for a man that is more capable than I am, right? Now, I think what you're saying here is men are saying women always. Let's change the language there, because you don't like the word always. A vast majority of the time, let's not even say a vast. Let's say a good majority, because we just said 60 to 70%. 70% in a lot of places is passing. But let's say even 60%. They're going to want to end up in a relationship where the man makes a majority of the money. That's what statistics show. I don't know what you're looking at. But if a man says majority of the time a woman is going to want to be, prefer to be, and statistically speaking, end up in a relationship where the man makes more money, he will be factually correct. I don't know why we do this stuff about, well, it's not true and stuff. It's statistically correct. I see what you're saying, but you have to understand, okay, let's take out the extremes. And even in the extreme podcast, the men still do have a point. Like, say, for instance, Fresh and Fit or the whatever podcast, right? It is true, in my opinion, that they bring on a certain demographic of women. And those women don't represent a majority of women, because these women, they're coming on for a benefit of maybe being able to promote their I'll say social media. I say it like that, right? But certain parts of the women are true. They still want a certain thing from a man. That doesn't change, even though they're in a certain occupation that might be frowned upon. They still want certain things from a man, because at the end of the day, they're a woman and they behave like a woman. And I said, well, you need to do more listening to women, there's a proverb or a saying that says, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. It basically means live. Study your wife. Be around your wife or your significant other, your spouse, according to knowledge. Knowledge isn't something that is necessarily always book taught. Sometimes is, observed. A lot of times it's observed. A lot of learning is through observation. Your kids learn through observation. What it's translated as isn't always what you wanted, but they are observing what you're doing, and then they're saying, "Oh, mommy said that. Oh, daddy said that." So when they go around grandma and grandpa, and a word or two might slip, then they're trying to see, well, where did they correct the child, but they're like, now where did it come from? Because the child could have learned this on its own. What source is this coming from? And you find, oh, mama's watching this show, or daddy said this. Oh, I gotta watch my mouth. That's what parents say, or they should say, if they're taking accountability. And this is the same concept with men, where men are saying, well, if I'm looking what she says versus what she's actually doing, there's two different things. She might say, I want flowers. I go and get her flowers. She says, what are these? Right? Well, you can give me any $5 flowers. It's not that hard. Then you go and get her $5 flowers, even $10 flowers. You say, okay, well, she said $5. I got $10 flowers. I got $15, $20 flowers. Oh, these are just $20 flowers. What are these? I thought you would give me something. Well, you said you wanted 5. Yeah, but I was just saying, make the effort. You could have made more of an effort than that. So what I heard versus what you actually wanted are two different things. A man will make a note of that. Why do you think the cliche of when a woman says, well, I'm not hungry, is a thing? And then she's actually hungry. Oh, I'm so glad you bought me a burrito bag. I was starving. Right, because she was actually hungry. Maybe in the moment she wasn't, but because a man lived with her long enough and he observed what she did or how she acted versus what she said, he knows, okay, I'm just going to get extra food. Kev on stage, along with other people, have said this, and they've been joking about it, but it's a joke, but they're serious. You can say, well, ain't nothing wrong with me. And then you fool around. And like one woman said, if he had asked a third or fourth time, then I would have spilled everything that was wrong with me. But because men know, and they say, well, there's something wrong with her, she's just not telling me right now. And when she comes back in there 30 minutes later and blows up, a man expects it. So he just goes in there and plays his game for about 30 minutes. And when she comes in about 30 minutes to an hour later, well, okay, I just waiting for her to ruminate and get her thoughts together, and then come in here and talk to me about it. But she did lie and say that there's nothing wrong, when actually there was something not only wrong, but there was something very wrong, right? And this is the issue with some of these women out here, specifically talking about what you said. Y'all dismiss a lot of the stuff that men say as if men haven't been out there paying attention. One of the things that you have to think about is, say, a fisherman, right? These pros, they have a wealth of experience just because they've been sitting out there. Sometimes they'll take family and friends, but a lot of times because they love it, they'll go out there by themselves and they'll spend not only hours, sometimes they will spend days out on the water, and they have all the supplies that they need because they just love doing it. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's preposterous. Why would anybody? Because I love it. I love doing it. That's just what I do. And when I get back to the shore, I can tell you how to do it. Because that's what I do. I'm really good at it. Right? And they get to the point to where they can take people out on tours. And most people don't have a love for fishing like they do. They can talk about fishing for hours and never get tired because they love it. They've been out there doing it. And I take you out there on the water and you say, well, I want to go fishing. Okay, well, do you want to catch a lot of fish? Guess what most people will say? Yeah. Okay, well, pay me $50. We'll go out on the water and we'll fish. All right, let's go out here to fish. You get out there, they take you 3 hours offshore, family and friends or whatever. You spend some time out there. Well, we didn't catch no fish. Well, it's probably because you got to go a little bit deeper where all of the fish are. A lot of these fish are not going to be closer towards the shore. So you got to go out a little bit further. And for those tours, you got to go out. A lot of them go out 12 hours off, 12 hours off, 12 hours offshore. That means I'm driving out there 12 hours. I'm going out there 12 hours. These boys don't mind. They got food out there. They got whatever they need. You see them walking around with this. I'll get on the boat. It's not going to be a lot of them. It's not going to be a lot of, maybe a handful of them that go out there, but they going out there and they will come back with some fish. They got their coolers. They already got their ice. They got somebody on the shore that'll, cut all that stuff and clean all that stuff and give it to them, and they take it home. I'll go put it in my freezer if I need to, but this is going to be what's for dinner tonight. They like that type of stuff, but they already know, and they can tell you how to fish. Now, it's your problem if you don't want to listen, but I'm telling you, here's where the fish actually are. But most people don't want to do that. I have the knowledge, and I'm giving it to you. So if you have somebody in the manosphere or the red pill, or what do you want to call it, that says, I got the knowledge, I've been around a long time, and that's what you see from a lot of the old heads. That's what you saw from Kevin Samuels. They're telling you how to avoid certain pitfalls and traps. And y'all want to say that these men are bitter. Maybe I got a little anger because I did all of this stuff and I wasted my time. But the fact of the matter is, I have the experience. I'm giving you the game so you can avoid the pitfalls. Y'all don't like hearing that. That's the issue. I get what you're saying and where you're coming from, but we got to stop this, man. We got to stop this. Y'all always quick to discredit what men say. Y'all, well, let me not say always, because you don't like that word. Y'all are so quick to discredit a lot of times what men say, when men continue to tell you, we've been watching you. Now, you can, going back to the fishing example, you can have a professional use some small bait that you get from Walmart and catch a fish. Not going to be the best, but he beat and caught that fish because he knows how to catch the fish. He knows how to fish. It don't matter what is on the line. He knows how to fish. In any scenario, or a majority of scenarios. But a beginner, somebody who don't know what they're doing, they can have the best bait in the world and catch no fish because they don't know what they're doing. These men have been around. So in any situation and scenario, I can tell you what the woman's about to do because I know. I see what she's doing. I've seen it multiple times. I've been in that environment. I know. Once again, y'all try to discredit what a man is saying and y'all go out there and do it. I'm not listening to you.